comes to Joe Biden, we all know that he loves getting close to women and small children in an inappropriate way and without consent. And one woman, her name is Tara Reid, and no, not the Tara Reid from the American Pie movies. Another Tara Reid, she actually used to work for Joe Biden. She had actually been following the Nevada politician Lucy Flores, who had alleged that Biden had inappropriately sniffed her hair and kissed the back of her head. I'm sorry, you guys. And kissed the back of her head as she waited to go on stage at a rally in 2004. And, you know, then Biden, in response to that, said that he had not once in his career done anything or acted inappropriately. And Flores got a lot of backlash at the time from the media. And Tara, having had worked for Joe Biden, and after seeing that, that kind of display from the media and from Joe Biden, decided she wanted to come forward as well about what she had experienced working for Joe Biden, which was very similar in her recounts as what Flores had claimed. And so Tara actually went and went to an organization named Time's Up, which was established in the wake of Me Too, and it's a 501c3. And they were established basically to help women who had been victims of, you know, assault or harassment, especially in the workplace, file lawsuits and actually get legal assistance around their claims. They had even helped in some cases with, you know, some of the women in the Harvey Weinstein case and other really big cases. They had raised more than $24 million in 2 years, and it was the most successful GoFundMe site. So that, you know, it's pretty big time organization. And Tara Reid had gone and spoken with the organization in regards to her claims so that she could really, you know, support Flores's claims. And turns out that because this organization is a 501c3 and because it is an election year, they cannot take Ms. Reid's case because there is a, let me look it up. There is a restriction of political campaign intervention for 501c3 tax exempt organizations clause that says under the Internal Revenue Code, 501c3 organizations are absolutely prohibited from directly or indirectly participating in or intervening in any political campaign on behalf of or in opposition to any candidate for elective public office, contributions to political campaign funds or public statements of position, verbal or written, blah, 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 blah. So basically, a 501c3 cannot, in this particular specific situation, this organization cannot help Ms. Reid in her legal case against Joe Biden and his inappropriateness because Joe Biden is in a federal campaign and he is a candidate in the election. Now, of course, the first thing that my mind came to is like, well, duh, right? We don't want churches to be, you know, campaigning on behalf or putting money into illegal campaigns either. And one of the reasons behind that is because churches are tax exempt as well. But then, of course, you see all of them intermingling. What is that church breakfast that they do?
Morning,
yeah.
What's it called?
I think it's
prayer.
Yeah, I think it's just a breakfast.
Prayer breakfast.
Prayer breakfast. That's it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like rubbing elbows. So I looked into that too, of course, and churches and lobbying basically, and I found that churches can influence legislation, but it has to be insubstantial lobbying, whatever that means. Although the insubstantial test for churches is vague, churches can do a minimal amount of lobbying. Yeah. So I think that the churches definitely blur lines a lot in these sorts of tax exempt clauses. But I wanted to hear what you guys had to say about how this clause in this case really kind of protects Joe Biden in a way, right?
So I actually looked into this,
And I think Time's Up is actually they can do things. They're just choosing not to. They're actually picking sides. I looked into it. They have been within like the last month taken direct action against the Trump administration. That's during a election. That's happening basically right now. That's them talking about things and picking a side. I read this article because when I read the article you sent, I was like, something. They're doing stuff against Trump now. Maybe technically they can't put the lawsuit. They can't put the money in the way. But it's like if you have a drawer of tools and you're just like, well, I can't use this tool. Don't look at the other tools I have. You can't use this tool. That seems to be what they're doing. I really call BS on them because they could do other stuff. They could put, I don't know, public pressure. They can tweet about it. They don't have to spend money. They can do other things. They can hand it off to another group they're a part of that's unaffiliated with them, blah, 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 blah. But they're not. They're taking a Joe Biden case and going, we can't do anything. Head elsewhere.
Well, it does mention in the article that that there is question of whether or not Tara Reade herself questions whether or not she should really push the envelope on this because she looks at Trump as an existential threat, to the nation. And so she's like, do I actually go forward with my story or, and risk like being blamed?
See, this is the hypocrisy that we always talk about. If you pick a side like that, you then have to be a hypocrite at some point. And if you're just true, this isn't an issue. If they went, look, we're hitting Trump for all the stuff he's done. You have a case too. We're hitting Biden. If they really believed what they were saying and it's about defending women, then I think the answer is obvious. But I don't think that that's the goal that they're doing. It's like we've talked about with Move On and Time's Up. They've been politicized. This 501c3 that's not supposed to be. It's effectively a political style organization, just like you mentioned with churches. Churches shouldn't be involved in politics, except every politician goes to them.
Yes,
they have a lot of voters that they have a lot of influence over. It's the same thing. They're choosing to say your story isn't as important because of how we view politics.
So are they just acting as gatekeepers in a way of sort of saying like, okay, Biden is a creepy old dude that has done sexually inappropriate things, but we can't prove that because we can't legally make that accusation right now. But it's totally true. Wink, wink.
Yeah,
and it's like, it's on video. It is totally true.
Everybody knows it.
But with Trump, they're doing it. That's my point, is that they're choosing, choosing. Because they could make a legal argument like, hey, we're not interfering. This person came to us. We didn't ask her to come to us. We are just covering a case that came our way. Because again, they're doing it with Trump. So why not?
Right. So again, huge shout out to Kira and Daniel. You guys definitely hit a lot of points that I wanted to bring up, but I'm going to bring up something else. The hypocrisy of the vote blue no matter who crowd. Everyone that's so afraid of Donald Trump, the big, bad guy that we're all supposed to unite against. Well, please explain to me, why are we rallying behind a guy that has a long, creepy history of being very inappropriate, sexually inappropriate with a lot of young women? We have a guy that's been caught on record numerous times. It's going to probably be used against him by the Trump administration, even though that's hypocritical unto itself because Trump himself is just as creepy as Joe Biden. But once again, the Democrats are rallying around somebody that they deem is better than Trump because he's one of our guys, because he's wearing our colors, because he's with Barack Obama. And we all remember those wonderful 8 years of Barack Obama's neoliberalism. Don't sell us that garbage. Joe Biden is a horribly flawed individual who has a long history of abusing and hurting people with his power because he's been in power for a very long time. And so now when this Time's Up organization has the opportunity to hold somebody accountable, they choose not to. They choose not to believe a victim. I thought we're supposed to believe the victims. I believe her. I believe that something happened to her. I believe that she has every right to speak up. I believe she has every right to use her voice. But sadly, in this day and age, we are surrounded with hypocrisy within the corporate media. And Joe Biden is going to get away with this. Joe Biden is once again going to walk around and become unscathed. He's not going to be held accountable for any of his actions. He's going to be safe. And that is disgusting to me. And how are we supposed to believe that this individual, Joe Biden, is going to take on Donald Trump? Here's a real sad fact. Against Donald Trump, Joe Biden will lose. Donald Trump has a treasure trove of information that he could use against Biden. And now there's this article out here too. But let's look what's happening to the victim. Let's look at what's happening to the woman. She is being told to be quiet. The media is pushing her away because they want to make sure that everyone's good for their anointed vote blue, no matter who person, because he's going to, oh, I don't know, make a woman a vice president. Really? That's what's going to do it? Everyone wants to protect Joe Biden? No, let's shine a light on Joe Biden and expose his weakness. And every day, we're seeing Joe Biden become weaker and weaker. And that corporate media narrative that they were selling since 2019 is still falling apart. Joe Biden will lose to Trump. It is a sad fact. And the sooner we accept it, the better we'll all be.
Yep. Hashtag Meteor 2020.
Again, there's really nothing. You guys all make great points. The only way I can end this is disgusting. All of it.